All right, let's talk about our Valentine's Day events. Let's talk about those. So, love cannot be assimilated. You have an SMS. This is a 3-day event. You'll have events today, tomorrow, and Thursday. You complete one of the events each day. You hit these milestones. You get 214 of these little Horgon currencies on days 1 and 2. And day 3, you get a frame. In order to complete the event, you have to make a choice without spending money. If you want to spend money, then you can make multiple choices. But in your gift tab, you will have this little Horgon trophy, if you haven't already claimed it. And essentially, all you have to do here is pick your favorite couple. The rewards are exactly the same, so it's not like if I pick Riker and Troy, then I'm going to get, Riker, Troy, officer shards, or anything like that. The rewards are all the same. You are still getting the same event store currency, no matter which couple you pick. So pick whichever one you want. You will get 4 trivia questions about said couple. You go to each system, complete the thing you have to do to give the appropriate answer for the trivia question, and score your points. I'm going to go with Beverly and Jean-Luc Picard because, well, I did that on my other account already, so I already know all the answers, so it'll be super easy to finish. So you just go to join. They tell you what the first question is here. Where did they first meet? On the Stargazer may or may not be entirely accurate. Picard was captain of the ship, the Stargazer, and one of his crew members was Jack Crusher, Beverly's husband. So whether he met him on board the ship is where he met her, who knows, but it's related to the Stargazer. So mission number 1, we go to the Tulun system. We kill something, and we're done. Tulun is right there. While I'm doing this, since I already know what the answer to question number 2 is, and it does involve ore, we're going to set a course for there and get him flying over there. Ninth Maverick, what's the name of the new holodeck mission? It's part 2 of the... we'll cover that in a second when we get into the holodeck, but it should be the only one you should have. They have adapted part 2. That should be the only one, unless you haven't done the other ones. It's the only one that's free, we'll put it that way. They should have made them shards of the couples, though. I believe that's what they did last year, was you did the mission and you got officer shards. And I think they realized that certain pairings weren't quite balanced. Because like Riker and Troy is 2 epics, but like Riker and Worf were a rare and an epic, and Picard and Beverly were a rare and an epic. So I guess they felt like there was different value there, so they may have just switched it up and made it just a straight currency for this year, or they just wanted to try something new. Okay, so we killed something. Bam, mission 1 completed. We also hit our first milestone. Moving on to question number dos. Numero dos. What is Beverly's nickname? Well, she's clearly the Dancing Doctor. It's also the name of her officer ability. For the generic, the common version of Beverly, I believe, is her Dancing Doctor is her ability, which requires mining 1 G2 ore. Gates McFadden was actually some type of dancer, ballet dancer, or something like that in her career, so that's why they also refer to her that. And they tried to integrate it a little bit into the show, her dance background. Okay, so you just have to mine 1 ore. Easy peasy. That's done. More currency. More currency. Moving on to question number 3. Walk down memory lane, question 3. They were able to hear each other's thoughts when? They were linked together on Kesprit. So I have to go to Eurydia and destroy one hostile there. The two of them were linked together. So they could hear each other's thoughts, and they tried to stay out of each other's, you know, personal feelings toward each other, but, that became a little bit more apparent. And it also got into some other issues about, why he never did anything and how he felt guilty over Jack Crusher's death because Picard was his commanding officer on the Stargazer and sent him on a very dangerous mission, which Jack ultimately died on, saved the ship, at least according to the book that explores that relationship further. And we move on to question number 4, the final question. Were they ever married? The answer to that is yes. In an alternative future, this was part of the series finale, All Good Things, in season 7 of The Next Generation. We get to see an alternate future timeline where Beverly Picard is present. So we fly on up here, we kill one thing here, and bam, look at that, they're done. So it doesn't matter what ops level you are, you can very easily, quickly complete these Valentine's Day missions. There's the 4th one. That gives you, again, a little bit more of the currency. Plus, then you also get a little more currency, and for also hitting that first milestone of the 3-day event, you get another 214 bits right there. If you are so inclined, you can go into the store and you can purchase a Horgon totem right here. It will give you 90 of these, so then you would be able to do the other 3 couples, and since it's a 3-day event, you'll get 1 free each day. You're buying the other 3. So for 20 bucks, you'd be able to complete 9 more events over the next 3 days, getting extra in-store currency. There is also a $100 pack, because of course, why sell a $20 pack when you can also sell a $100 pack? The $100 pack has an epic avatar, which is the Borg heart, which is kind of cool, but is it worth $100? I don't know. You get a big chunk of Latinum, and you also get 5 of each of the Next Generation crew, except Wesley. For some reason, they left Wesley out of these packs. So, no Wesley Crusher here in the pack. Wesley is also missing from the event store, which we'll take a quick look at. You get your said currency, these Horgons. You have your choice of what to spend them on. First choice, this is going to take, if you are just free to play, you'll get about 1,500, 500 a day, give or take. So you should get about 1,500, which means basically all you're getting is just the triple rare. This is an emote. This isn't even like a avatar. This is actually an emote. I didn't realize that at first, my first glance, but there's the little emote icon. So that's what you'd be getting. Your second choice are ship skin refits, which on the surface look pretty awesome until you stop and do the math on them, and then unfortunately it's really disappointing. So if you get about 1,500, you'll have enough to do 3 pulls of this. Each pull gives you 10 ship refit shards. However, they drop 1 at a time. So much like an officer pack, you're going to get 10 shards here, and they're going to be randomly divided up between all of the possibilities. Uncommon dropping at 40%, rare at 35, epic at 25. So essentially, if you're getting 10 pulls, we'll say it's 4, 4, and 2. The epic will probably round down. The extra one will roll over into the rares, maybe. So you're going to get 2 epic shards. Well, when you need 120, what is 2 shards really doing for you? Not really much of anything. And considering these things are not easy to source, it's not really good value there. These ones over here, maybe you pick up an extra shard of some of the rares, which are, I believe, in the amalgam refinery. So maybe you'd save yourself a little bit of time. So let's go double check that real quick. Yeah, these are the ones that are in the regular refits are right here for the amalgam. So maybe if you were going after one of these refits, it might save you a little bit of time. But as Olympus points out in the chat right here, the huge drawback is that, very much like opening a pack with officer shards, you can get shards for refits that you have already unlocked. And unlike officer shards, which turn into transporter patterns and things that are useful, if you got an extra blueprint or shard here for the Opus Grand, or one of these that you already have, or the Discovery refit up here, it's just wasted. There is no extra benefit to it. So while this is good in theory, it's kind of a bit of a sucker's trap. Don't fall for it. You're better than that. As much as I would love to get the USS Terror skin, which I think I'm only like 10 or 12 away from. Let's go look at our ship skins. So yes, like the Enterprise one I need 84. The D4 one I need 84. The Jellyfish one, the D4 refits. Maverick, thank you very much for the 100 bits. D4, the Enterprise, the Salvager refits that we just had. These take 120 to get. Not real easy to do. And then you look at, I have the Infinitus, I have the Opus Grand, I have the Enterprise D skin, I have the Discovery refit, the Augur refit, both Augur refits actually, and the Fuchsia Salvager refit. So I could end up opening that pack and getting some of these shards, and they're just wasted. Just throwing them right down the drain. But yeah, I'm only 13 away from the Terror skin, and if you're wondering what that does, increases damage against Swarm Armada targets by 35,000. So when you're doing those Swarm Armadas, your Franklin A becomes a much bigger beast than it already is. This one has been notoriously hard to source. They had events for it when it first came out, and then we didn't see anything for like a year, and then maybe like November, they were like, okay, fine, here's an event that you can do to get some shards for it. But it was very heavily costed, shall we say, to participate in. So then what the heck are we supposed to do with our event store currency? Well, that leaves us with option number 3, which is this Be My Imzadi, which is an officer recruit pack, which gives 10 officer shards as well as a little bit of officer XP, and it has a 50-50 drop rate between epics and rares. The pack is not weighted evenly, though. You have a 50-50 drop rate between epics and rares, but there are only 6 rare officers, and there are 11 epic officers. So you've got a little bit more diversity here, and the big selling point, Jean-Luc Picard is here, Data is here. These are 2 officers that are notoriously hard to source, as well as officers that may appear in Ultra Recruits or Transporter patterns like Riker and 6 of 11 and 3 of 11 over here. But you're getting more value over here from these guys. Let's open one and find out, see what it looks like. It should be 50-50. I should get 5 epics and 5 rares, but I'll probably get 4 and 6 just because. So what did we get? Well, I got some transporter patterns for officers that I already have. 1, 2, 3, 4 epic officers, 2 rares, and then at 75 shards apiece, this would be 4 rare officer shards. So I must have gotten 4 shards for rare officers that I already have. But still, I mean, good value. Anytime I can promote mining officers, make them better is always good. So I probably got these Borg officers that I already have maxed out, shards of them. But even other rares, Beverly's a good officer. Worf and Tasha, kind of meh, uh, you know. But otherwise, the pack overall is pretty good value here. So, but no Wesley. Wesley Crusher should be right there. There's a spot for him. They left a spot for him. No Wesley Crusher. Sorry, Will Wheaton. I don't know who you pissed off, but they left you out, brother. They left you out. Dean, you're at a loss with what to claim. Nothing looks worth it. There's nothing here that's like earth shattering. But if you're looking at a best of situation, I think the officer shards are probably a better way to go. It will marginally get you closer to a few other officers, promoting them or upgrading them or maxing them out, whatever the case may be, or unlocking them if you're still looking for like Data or Picard shards. Maybe this helps get you there. So, but the refits, not very good. I mean, if you want, it's an emote, and it is a rare emote, so gosh forbid that they run any of these, emoji events again, or emote events again. As a rare, you'd get more points for this. The common ones were scoring at 1 point apiece. The uncommon ones, which they gave us all the live long and prosper hand thing that I can't do, were scoring at 2 points apiece. That was the one that was free on the web store. A rare one would be worth 3 points if they run said event again, which they might. They just might. And if you have any epic emotes, those were worth 5 points apiece during that particular event. So, I personally will be cashing them in on the officer shards just because it seems to me like it's the thing that actually might have an impact on my gameplay. So that's what I'll be going for there. So what do you guys think overall? It seems like a pretty simple event. Valentine's Day events, a little complicated at the start because people weren't quite sure, like, how many of these things can I do? Can I only do one? Can I do all of them? How do I get the trivia questions for these? And you have to figure out, oh, I have to join each individual one to figure out what the answers are. No Wesley for Valentine's Day love? Yeah. Yep. So that's it for the Valentine's Day events. Nice and simple. Seems like they designed a good event to get people to spend 20 bucks. Thought it would be the pair of each officer shard. It's okay. Yeah, that's what they did last year. That's what they had done last year. It was, if you did the Picard Beverly, that's who you got shards for. If you did, I think what they realized was the Riker Troy one had the best return on investment because you were getting 2 epic officer shards. Like I said earlier, I think I said this, but I'm repeating myself just in case because I saw we got about 15 new people in the last 5 or 10 minutes. So that's how the event did go last year. That's who you did the event. That's who you got the officer shards for. But people did say it didn't feel quite balanced because of how the officer pairs were set up. So this year they just sort of made it a generic officer random shard pull kind of thing, and it is pretty good return on investment. And as far as the value for your 20 bucks, what is your 20 bucks going to get you? Realistically, it'll probably get you, at least a dozen extra pack pulls at 10 shards apiece. I think when Rev and DJ were talking about it, they said it was closer to 20. So you're getting an extra 100, and we'll call, even if it's 15, 150 to 200 extra officer pack pulls that you're going to be able to open. Which isn't bad for 20 bucks, especially with that limited pool of officers that there are. Good chance to pick up a decent little chunk of data shards or Picard shards or Beverly shards to help bolster that crew. May even get some of the Borg officers as well if you don't have access to them in the refinery. If you're not doing all the solo armadas and the new cube group armadas and things, this could be another way to get a few extra shards for some of those guys. You need to buy the pack to get the emote. I think if you do all of the events and that is the only thing that you claim, I think you'll have just enough to get the emote. You won't be able to get any officer shards, I don't think. I think it'll just be enough for the emote, but maybe if some of the events score higher on the other days than they do today, maybe you might have a little left over for something. But I mean, I got 527 points today. So if you do that 3 days, that's 1,500 and change. But also the third day doesn't, it just gives you the frame. So this love, instead of getting 214 here, you just get the frame, right? There's nothing else in that. It says plus, but there's nothing else there. It's just the frame. So I think maybe you will come up just short. Yeah, whatever bucket you pick, you just get different trivia questions that are about the couple. So whatever couple you like better or feel you're more comfortable knowing the answers to, or find it easier to just look up and Google the answers. But either way, the rewards are all still the same. It's the same point totals there. So if we go, that's what, 214 there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 27. Let's do this. 27 times 4 was 108. And then this one had, if we call that, that should be about the same, right? 4, 7, yeah, 214. So you get 322 times 3 days is 966. I will read your announcement in a second, Eco. I'm busy. 966 plus what you get over here. Wrong button. 214 is 1394. And the thing costs what, 1490 something? So maybe you actually don't have enough. It's 1498. So actually you come up like 100 short. Huh. So maybe you actually do have to buy the pack. Or maybe one of the other days will give you more currency. I guess we'll have to wait and see. Okay, let's see what Mr. Eco has to say with his little announcement. Oh, there he's just making an announcement about the Valentines Day events, which I was just talking about. Well, let's see what they have to say about it. Over on the old website, walk down memory lane, rekindle the flame. So there's 3 days of events with an SMS. You'll get in the gift section enough to enter one of the 4 SMSs. Total amount of Horgon carved currency can be earned by completing the events is 1070. By completing, you'll also earn yourself the epic animated frame. So I guess the events will actually give you less as the week goes on. So if you do decide you want the emote, it does look like you are going to have to make a in-store purchase in order to get it. Okay, well, thanks for letting us know. A little disappointing, I guess, that it's not at least possible to earn that reward free to play. if that was the only thing that you chose, that you could get that free to play. But it does not seem like that will be the case. That's kind of scummy. Not kind of, actually. It's just very scummy. It's weird to have a prize in an event store that the only way to get it is to make a purchase to get additional currency. Like, if you want that to be your prize, that should be an all or nothing kind of thing. If you spend all your currency and it's the only thing you get, fine. That's the appropriate value for it. But to be like, there's no way you can get this prize without spending any money, I'm not a fan of that. I'm really not a fan of that, and I really feel like they did a big disservice to their player. And if you're trying to show us Valentine's Day love, you just gave us a bouquet of dead roses. It's kind of what that feels like a little bit. So take that for what you will. Learn from it, do better next time. Or send out a comp chest and give everybody like an extra couple hundred currencies then. And be like, we're sorry. Or change the value of it in the store and lower it, make it cheaper. Whatever you want to do. You got 2 days to figure it out. Get it done.